And we are live. What's up, everyone? It's not intentional to be late, but it's always my fault. We have some changes because we had a two-man thing, and I hope this is working. And thank you so patiently for waiting. We have so much to discuss with you, our lovely viewers. Asa is very tired because he was stuck in traffic for half the day, but it's going to be
most of the things that you just said, Gaz, are true. Most of the things that you've just said, but I cannot accept that it's not done on purpose. It must be done on purpose. It's every bloody week.
It's not done on purpose. It's not done on purpose. It's not. I'm just terrible. That's what happens with ADHD. You just cannot be early to anything. I always think I have enough time. I thought I've got everything topic ready, and then my bowel movements one assisting me with my timing. I was like, oh no, emergency drop tankage. Come back. Oh no, wait, what's going on? Needed to sort StreamYard out, and we're here. But thank you to the 178 people waiting patiently. Thank you for everyone in the chat for waiting patiently, and for people listening on the Spotify and Apple podcasts and all that places. Well, you don't have to wait, I'm sure, but yeah, welcome. Chat, Asa, all of you, I love you. So how you doing, man? What have you been up to?
I'm brilliant. I spent most of the day stuck on the M25, but besides that, you know, playing some games and having some fun running the gaming Arcadia stuff and doing all those podcasts and things. So contrary to what Froggy T Wright says there, I actually talk far too much for most people's taste.
I don't think so. Not on this show, but that's going to change because it's just two of us, so you have no choice but to talk here. So how things with gaming Arcadia, man? How are things going? You've got your, like, you know, how many weeks has it been?
Yeah. How many weeks? I don't actually know. I don't know. The podcasts are on like their kind of 5th and 6th episodes now. So we've got the Arcadia Roundtable with Darge and Chris Grinnell. And we've got the Xbox Series podcast with Gamsley and Deadly Headley. And they are on episode 5 and episode 6 have just gone by. And they're running really smoothly and going really well. Everyone seems pretty happy over there. So yeah, good times.
Yeah.
How about?
Was it like
finally, after months and months and months of teasing, you finally relaunched your channel? Are you having fun with it?
It's it's a lot of work. I'm just trying to. It didn't release it like I planned it because it was very supposed to be super organized. But you know how disorganized I am, and I literally did it as soon as Ramadan started, which isn't ideal. So you're struggling with energy. But I'm pushing the content out there. I'm happy with the content so far, but just looking to do a lot more videos. I've got another video in the works tomorrow. When are you going to do more videos, man? Because I genuinely think you need to do them.
There are videos.
Do you
planned.
not like making the videos?
I actually kind of love making the videos. I kind of hate the videos when I see editing's like a strange process, and I know you have a very different style of editing to me, and you're very good with your music and things like that. When I'm editing, I enjoy it while I'm doing it, but I also like low-key hate myself, so it's painful every step of the way at the same time.
Why? Well, what are you like, doubting yourself, or just
always,
like
to be fair,
direction? Or
I was really enjoying doing the reviews on the channel towards the end of last year, and I just have been busy doing other things, so they are going to come back. There is going to be more video content on that channel in the near future. That
new review format of yours is, I think, it's such a breath of fresh air. I think the industry needs it. It demands people to pay attention and really kind of cuts through a lot of the crap. So it'd be good to bring that back, man. Like, if you've got this magic formula, man, I just want you to do more with it. Mm-hmm. Just like with Fonz in the chat, with the super chat, thank you, man. He goes, Ace has played so much Final Fantasy Rebirth, he's just starting to style his hair like Cloud.
Find a hat. Give me a moment.
It actually is grown quite a bit. Look at that, a little fringe. It's like I'm back in 2002. Shit. Fonz needs to do some videos as well. I've been having a go at him to get his stuff in order. Chat. Do you not want to see Fonz's videos back? He used to have that cool little intro, retro look, and everything, that sound, and then he just talks no nonsense. Shout out to Fonz, man. One of the few people keeps it real in this space. But yeah, man, it's good to know that I do pop in here and there and troll your chat. And I see Gamsley's basically the annoying one, like I am here for you, the outlier. But I think, was it Colt Eastwood also echoed your sentiments that Brotato sucks? So you're not on your own?
I mean,
I think so, yeah.
I was never on my own. Yeah, no, I can't get on with that game. I get people love it. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. And Gamsley loves it, and Deadly Headley took his side, and it went on for like weeks. Gamsley's got his stupid little potato that he rubs in my face every week. It's going mouldy now. It's growing roots. It's going to be gone. It's all going to be behind us.
Shout out to Gamsley, man. Poxy, thank you so much for being a member for 29 months as well, man. I really thought you were rebounding to Game On Pony. Glad to see it's a pony free zone again. But I keep getting this whole and it's my fault. But it's just, this is why we separated the videos from this, because everyone thinks this is an Xbox channel. Even today, they're like, "Oh, you're moving all these PlayStation topics. You're I thought you were an Xbox show." And it's like the first few videos we did were PlayStation videos. I think you were the voiceover of them, and we've been trying to tell everyone this is a multi-plat show. For anyone who watches it, knows it. But it's hard to shake away the Xbox label, isn't it? Is it all my fault, Asa? Or is it
it's
maybe
not all
the
your
Xbox
fault.
community
There's
stuff?
also this there's this coincidental green that we have. This is apple green that we have around here. It's not Xbox green, it's apple green. But people just see that and
it's just flush action, because thanks for no weirdos on the show today. Listen, I love our chat. So even when you feel like uncomfortable situations, like, do you agree with me, Asa? Like, I know you don't necessarily have a say in sometimes, or you sit back and let me pick the guests for better or worse. I enjoy the talk shows where there is a little bit of maybe animosity, or bringing back together people that have very frayed relationships in the past, like Colt and King Thrash. I enjoy that kind of thing. For me, that was a thing, but I think a lot of people don't.
It's always best to welcome like different perspectives. There are a lot of podcasts out there that you can go to if you want your views reinforced and you want to hear an echo chamber. Conversation is always better if you get multiple different perspectives. And we started this thing out to kind of platform content creators, even when we were tiny ourselves. That was kind of the whole point of this channel and show and former website.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, our website's not doing that well, but the show has done really well, and we were very happy with carrying the spirit of bringing people together. And I don't think we lost that, irrespective of my console war shenanigans. I think we've had some great conversations. I really liked King Thrash on our show, and I really liked all the other people. But yeah, each to their own. Shout out to Face23 Brooklyn. Face, I'm going to reserve your super chat, for the main topic, because that is a big chunky topic. We're going to talk a lot about what's happening in the space. Before we do, Asa, what have you been playing, man? What games have you been playing?
I'm still running around Chadley's Ubisoft adventure an awful lot. And for anybody else that's playing it, you'll absolutely know that I'm talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Chadley's Ubisoft adventure. I'm like 17 hours in, and I've still made pretty much zero progress in the story.
Damn.
A whole bunch of that.
Is that
I've definitely
good?
been playing some other things.
That to me sounds like a really good game.
Is it good? It's I think if it were not Final Fantasy VII, if this was an actual Ubisoft game, I would be much less forgiving of the structure of it.
Really?
Because it is hitting those nostalgia
What about the structure
strings.
of it?
It's a Ubisoft structure. Like, you get to a certain point very early in the game, and the map just gets littered with icons to go like point to point. Lots and lots of fast travel around. Lots of go here, do this, go there, do that. Map icons. Lots of like just try and complete the district and fill out the map. So if it were a Ubisoft game, I would have dropped it by now. But it's not. It's a Final Fantasy VII game. The combat is really good. The music is really good, and I want to see it through. And yet, because it is Final Fantasy VII, and this is from the era of games where you kind of learn to be a completionist when you play the first ones of these games from like the PS1 era, where every time you get to a branching path, you start to go one way and you go, oh no, that's the correct way. I don't want to go there because there's going to be a treasure chest over in that direction. So it's where you learn to get like every nook and cranny in games. And for some reason, I seem to be caught in that, and I'm just doing everything in the game. I would never normally engage with a game like that. I'm not a completionist. I'm not a platinum trophy kind of person. I don't do side content. I do the good stuff. And I try and brush away all the filler shite. But for some reason with this one, I'm doing everything. What about you?
I think he's just trying to extract value out of this game because you love the universe so much.
It's weird. I wouldn't normally because I'm not sure of other things to play. Like, I don't need to extract value from it. I need to do what I do with every other game and just play the good bits. Any other game, like, always play the good bits. Ghost of Tsushima was one where I had a playthrough of that where I was doing everything. And I was like, why am I cutting bamboo? I hate this so much. I'm going to do a proper playthrough where I just do the good bits, the main story and like the storage missions, but I'm not cutting bamboo and chasing foxes. And yet on Final Fantasy, it directly takes some of those things from Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm like, oh, there's a bird. I guess I'll follow the bird.
I did the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. For me, even though I just loved being in the world so much, a lot of that side the fox stuff was a bit lame, but it's a game I said, you know what, I would enjoy 100%ing, and I don't care about 100%ing games usually unless there's an actual challenge and 100%ing it, or if I enjoy the game world so much. With Ghost of Tsushima, I enjoyed it so much. I actually said I need to get well, we'll talk about the PlayStation 5 in a bit, but the game world makes it much more palatable to explore and do that filler content. So, but yeah, typically I despise that stuff. But Shabs with a £2 super chat goes, Chad Lee's a goat. Chad Lee is greatest of all time, not Chad Lee is a goat. It's the wrong way to read that. So Final Fantasy 7, and that's it really. Usually you tend to play loads of different games.
I've played loads of different things, but I forget. It's really hard to keep track of time and what's happened in the last week and what I've already spoken about. We did some Halo yesterday or the day before, which is it's semi-regular, like every other week. Always get some Forza in. Some more Mario Kart happened at the weekend. Probably going to try Smash for the first time this weekend.
Smash, bro.
Loads of games. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of multiplayer stuff going on now, so quite a lot of people around. Helldivers as well. Like, that kind of stuff is always ongoing in the background. It's just easy to jump into when there are people wanting to play games.
Yeah. No. There's multiplayer's it's back on the table for me as well, man. Although mix, I've been playing quite a bit. Since my channel relaunch, I just want to make so much content. I've been playing loads of different games. Smash Brothers, I you know me, I used to play the shit out of Smash Bros and I think I've got like not top rank, but the nice ranked badge, the pro badge, and now I'm so bad at that game. But that game Smash leads me to well, actually, before it leads to the next topic, let me read the Shabs super chat. Obligatory Kupo message from Shabs. He says, anemic Final Fantasy Rebirth version. Forgot to say Kupo. Shout out to you, Shabs. I will figure out what this is. This Kupo stuff is. Xbox Obi, I have not seen you in chat for ages. Good to see you. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to the channel members as well. Iman the Rich, Blue Moon, Lydian Master, Phantom Death. I see you. What have I been playing? I've been playing loads of stuff, man. Just been gaming a lot because Ramadan started, and it's just like time to take just the work levels. I tell my clients, just let me play some games. The first week is pretty tough. So, but I've been spending that time gaming a lot. Been playing, Fortnite. Been playing Finals, which we'll talk about in a bit. Cyberpunk for 20 Have you played Cyberpunk since that whole upgrade, that whole change?
No, I played it after the path tracing upgrade, but I haven't played the version 2 with Phantom Liberty and all of that kind of stuff.
I haven't played Phantom Liberty, but the base game, man, it's actually very, 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 very good now. Still annoyed about a lot of the missed promises on the choices and what it was supposed to be. But I see the DNA of what CD Projekt Red, what made them good in this. I made a little short video about the sights of this. The game is, bro, I'm running it on performance mode, and the game looks beautiful on the Series X. It looks stunning, and like the story is great, the characters are great. And one thing, and this is going to be a bit of a controversial thing, but it shouldn't be, because in fact Colt Eastwood said this a year ago. But playing Cyberpunk makes you realize how poor Starfield.
I know
actually
what you're going to say
comparison.
before you bloody well say it. Why?
How did you know that? Have I said this before?
I don't know why people have to make that particular comparison all the time. When there are so many games. Why does Starfield always come under it?
Because Starfield actually, when I played Starfield, I reminded a lot of Cyberpunk. The way, it's very similar actually. And sometimes when I'm playing Cyberpunk, I expect it to behave like Starfield. So I'm shocked when there isn't a loading screen, when I've switched to a camera miles away because I've hacked into it and the bodies are still there seamlessly. I'm going through game worlds on the Series X on performance mode. It doesn't have that volumetric lighting, which is incredible, but it has everything else. It looks incredible and it works seamlessly and it's doing a lot more. And I play that, I'm like, yo, I do need to go back to completing Starfield though, because there was a really good side mission I was on. But Cyberpunk is a really good game, and I was quite critical of them at launch. But I respect any studio that really goes hard on its redemption arc, like Shawn Murray did with No Man's Sky and CD Projekt Red. They've done, bro. It's a great experience. I love going into playing that game. And if you know, my mate Dean loved it, then that says a lot to me because he very rarely likes things. Shout out to you, Dean, if you're watching this. K Santi, shout out to you in the chat. He goes, to be fair, Starfield has far more systems than Cyberpunk. Maybe? Does it? Does it have more systems? In what sense?
Probably. As in the way that it handles objects, and I don't really know. The objects is the big one, and the scope of the places that you can visit, building your ships and all that stuff. You can't really build anything in Cyberpunk. You can't run your bases and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but really, it's just like comparing the two. I think they're very good. I think if you're going to compare two games together, I think actually Starfield and Cyberpunk are really good ones to compare. But they're both great games, by the way. Both excellent games in their own right. But Cyberpunk for me is the one that really shines through. So I've been playing that, and been playing a little bit of Fortnite, man. Bro, every time. You know what pulls me? This is why freaking thingy are so genius, man. It's through the gas stuff. They advertise. Oh, hey, look, we're going to sell Invincible skin. Oh, great. Invincible skin. Now I have to go boot the game up. Boot the game up. Actually, that's a lie. The reason why I booted it up is someone shared a video clip of what they were doing in the new season, and it was insane. You had this guy with the wings and the electrical bolt firing out shit. It's just like, it looked like something like Immortals Phoenix Rising more than Fortnite. And I'm looking at this game, I'm like, what? It can't be this good. This looks amazing. Is this actually Fortnite? Boot it up, and bro, this is the example of how a gas game should be made. You go into the home page, and it looks like you're scrolling through Netflix with the sheer. It's got games within the games. It's got Rocket League games. It's got so many playlists, custom playlists. People are making this stuff. Zero Builders just got millions of different things in it. And there's so many customizations. As soon as I boot up the game, I've unlocked so many things. Like my Rocket League account was automatically linked with this one. And I was just like, oh, so that my skins, I bought a piece of crap. Even though I'm crap, I'm shit. Yes, Ace, I'm suck at Rocket League. So bad at Rocket League. I don't know why. Asa used to make fun of me of that for good reason, because I suck at it. But I enjoyed buying the microtransactions on that, and that stuff like that. It just carries. Wait, I didn't even know there's that skin, bro. This game is beautiful. It's an incredible game. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's popular. Fortnite is for kids." Nah, man. This game is incredible. It's such a good game. This runs so smooth. UE5 looks incredible. It keeps looking better. The skins are amazing. I bought the freaking Invincible skin. Do you watch Invincible? I've seen the first season of it, not the second.
What's the dad's name?
Omni-Man.
Omni-Man, that's it. That's the skin I bought. He just looks so cool. Omni-Man is cool. And yeah, it does it so well. And me and Colt were playing this yesterday. We got our first battle royale, first game. But
everybody
look
does.
At this and it's like, why can't others?
That's part of their hook. The first game is against easy mode bots. Everybody wins their first game. I'm sorry to take that away from you.
Is that really until you reach a certain level, or every game is just bots? Because we were playing some real people trolling with us, actual. You could tell when they're playing with bots. There are a few bots, but there's definitely well, I couldn't notice some of the bots, but we were playing real players. We were taking the piss. This game needs proximity chat. Actually, it wouldn't
want to believe
be
that
allowed
for you.
because,
I want to believe that for you. I do.
Why did you take everything away from me, man? I was feeling good about myself. Cole Eastwood. He's just taking away our victory. It also does explain why we got absolutely battered in the last few games. So maybe there was some merit to it. But look at the trailer, guy. Look at this. It's just beautiful to play, beautiful to be in that game world. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's easy to pick up and play. That electrical bolt thing is overpowered as hell. But it's so beautiful. Just so good, man. Like, the way it looks here is the way it really is. And Lydian Master says Fortnite is lame. Sorry. I can't convince everyone. So that's Fortnite. When's the last time you played Fortnite? And am I just screaming into the ether there? Do you appreciate its prowess?
I appreciate that Epic are masters at keeping that thing running and keeping it relevant and pulling all of these little pop culture references together. The last time that I played Fortnite was when they introduced the rocket racing and stuff like that. So when they took their real like firm steps into becoming a platform rather than a game, and they started to, like, the front end of it started to look a lot more like Roblox, and I actually found that really off-putting. So Fortnite, the game itself, like the centerpiece, I think is brilliantly well done. It's not necessarily for me because I'm not a big battle royale kind of person, but visuals, performance, content, service, all of that is phenomenal. But the front end of it, it's just like, here's a load of cheap shite now. Here's a load of shite. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to all the people that have made that content, but Roblox is a horrible, horrible place. And if you give me Roblox vibes on your front end, then I'm probably going to close that down pretty quickly, which I did.
To be honest, I don't get it. I see this content on the front page, and I'm like, I stick to my zero build mode. But I look at like the racing mode, which there's another mode. Someone on Twitter was telling me to try it. It's a lot of fun. So many things in there. And I respect why it's done. But I get it. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. One other freaking game that also had its new season launch was the finals, man. Season 2 came out. Bro, it's so good. There's got a new game mode, which I was playing with Slim Pickens. If you're watching, if you're here in chat, explain to me what the name is, because I completely forgot the name of it. But the finals is I was going to say people are sleeping on it, but they're not, because it has definitely garnered a strong following. But you find games just like that. This new season is really good, you guys. Other than the visual skins and all of that, music's really good. There's new vibes, really good. Platform, it's called, says Slim Pickens. Shout out to you, man, in the chat. And it's such a good game, man. It's like easy. There's no fluff in this game. But the one thing that is so annoying is we didn't get to play this new level despite how many games that we played. So if you're making this game and you made this incredible level, why don't you not have a playlist dedicated for a limited time to this new level? It's supposed to be amazing. Everyone's like, this is really good, nice new level, and I couldn't play it. And we played several games, but the game itself is really good, and this new 5v5 game mode is brilliant. If I can get 5 team, so the concept is you're just on the platform. It's like King of the Hill, but if the teams that's sitting on it, this platform goes through the level. And it smashes through, it just goes through buildings. And then the whole buildings collapse effortlessly. It's just like, this is what next gen is about. But I feel like this is a cross-gen game, isn't it?
I don't think so. But is it? As you were saying that about the platform, it was playing in the trailer, and suddenly, so my issue with the finals when I played it first of all is I love smashing stuff. Like, it's my kind of game. I love smashing stuff. But the levels have quite a lot of verticality built into them. There's quite a lot going on, and there's like, I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like, we won the game, but I had no clue what I was doing or where I was supposed to be. I could hear and see explosions. And by the time I got there, everyone was gone. This 5v5 just sit on a platform thing, I can do that. That's my kind of mode. I don't need to understand all the mechanics and abilities to get on there. Just stand on a platform and blow shit up. Yes.
Absolutely, that's actually why it's really good, because the other game modes do require to run actively to seek out the objective, and then the objective is being chased by people. So sometimes I feel like unless you're aggressively there at the front lines, you're going to miss the spectacle of it all. Here, You spawn very closely to this objective. It's one platform, 5v5, two teams against each other. And if you just sit on the platform, you're just going to watch the madness. It just goes through buildings and cuts through butter like anything. It's insane. And the game is so much fun. And it's a really good game mode that I think will be here to stay. It's not going to be a limited time thing, because this is what seasonal content should be about, introducing content that's long lasting more than just visual cosmetics, you know what I mean? So like the finals is really good if you haven't played it. Power Shift, sorry, not platform, Power Shift. I thought platform was wrong, Slimp. I was like, all right, let's call it that. But Power Shift, that's the name of the game mode. So if you haven't played it, definitely check it out. There's so much goodness there now. I bought the season pass for it, even though I probably won't complete it because I'm a piece of shit like that. Fortnite season pass was calling me. I said, nope, I know this one I'm not going to complete. And then now Apex Legends is calling me. I'm like, and then Halo's like calling me. I'm like, and now it's like I'm reminded by what you said before. There's too many good games. There's too many good games. Well, how do you have time? You just don't have time. And I've been spending a lot of the time playing games and still didn't have time to spend as much time as I want to. So, but there's something for everyone here. So yeah, shout out to the finals. But negative game that didn't do so well is Star Wars Battlefront Collection, man. That game looks like it is a failure, man. On Steam, it's like overwhelmingly negative. Apparently they had like something stupid like 5 servers for the entire world or something for this game, and no one could get on there. So like, did you hear about this?
I didn't really. I heard that people were really unhappy and it was a bit of a disaster launch, but I didn't. Is it really that simple? There's just not servers. So rather than the content of the game being bad, apparently. It's just at least it's easy to fix, I guess.
Well, I mean, the asking price, they didn't do much for the collection anyway. They just kind of like churned this out there. So it was pretty of a lazy collection anyway. You would expect some kind of updates. So it was pretty much on the back foot there anyway. I do get the nostalgia looking at this though. But yeah, well, ultimately this game is terrible. And it's just not doing that well. So I don't know.
Is it
though? Be another game.
I appreciate that's like a pretty minimal, low effort upscale of the game or whatever, but it was like a beloved game that people were quite bitter that they couldn't still go and play. So in theory, if they just said like we're bringing it back with servers and you can play it, that's not necessarily constituting a failure. The fact that you can't play it on the servers, I just want to know if there's a distinction. Like, is it bad temporarily because of server issues, or is it actually a bad game that will persist and be bad forever?
I imagine if the people beloved the game before and it's the same game, it's going to be more down to the technical issues. But I haven't looked into massive detail, but I just saw this on socials. I saw some articles and just saying this is bad. But it's going to be another case of, I guess, a game that sorts itself out after the fact. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But another game that this is a bit, well, disappointing to hear, but I've heard it from multiple sources. We had Skill Up and me don't tend to agree much, or because you have to find reviewers you align with similar tastes. I just find that Skill Up's tastes don't align with mine. I don't remember the games where he was lauding them, and I was like, no. But Skill Up. I'm talking about Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Ronin is the big. I've always been looking forward to this one. Ever since I played Wolong as well. I also said that kudos to Sony. Microsoft got Game Pass release with Wolong, and Sony managed to secure Rise of the Ronin exclusively on that platform. And shame on Microsoft, but it might be the case that Rise of the Ronin probably might fare worse than Wolong Fallen Dynasty, because the reviewer I was talking to, won't mention his name, but he said he just wasn't getting on with it, with the game. Just didn't feel like it's just clunky. The combat, like there's some moments of that Team Ninja magic, but I don't know. Like Petron says, it looks like a PS4 game. Team Ninja's games don't really look that great. Wolong didn't look great, but it's more the gameplay. And then the gameplay didn't really hold its own, or apparently doesn't hold its own. But I find it hard to believe because when I see it, what I see in the trailer, it looks really good to me. But apparently, according to SkillUp, its performance is dropping to the 40s, even in performance mode. Cutscenes are skipping. It's just a whole mess. So I don't even know if you played Wolong, or is this your kind of game?
I played a little bit of Wolong. They're not massively my kind of game. Like Team Ninja in general, I loved them in the Ninja Gaiden days when they had Itagaki in charge and all the rest of it. I don't have a problem with them now. Rise of the Ronin looks really interesting in terms of the breadth and choice in weapons and things, more so than its world, more so than its graphics and anything else. It just looked like it would give you loads of different toys to play with and loads of different ways to kind of customize the way that you approach each encounter. And it looked a little bit strange because you're like, oh, I can go in with this pebble and this dagger or a rocket launcher or something. And it was like flamethrower and explosive barrels everywhere mixed in with spears and things. I don't like stealth very much. So as soon as I see the sneaking around, I'm immediately kind of put off. I do like explosive barrels. I'm not sure they really fit very well here. It's a shame to hear that people are disappointed with it. It's a shame to hear that there's performance issues. And it's a shame for the game that it releases on the same day as Dragon's Dogma 2. Which means I'm not going to realistically get anywhere near it for a while.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is a shame for all those reasons. I'm still hoping it's... the person I was talking to did say that, look, maybe... these are early impressions. Maybe it will shine through later on in his playthrough. But generally, it looks really good to me. Maybe just different horses for courses or whatever the saying is. For me, it looks really good, and I hope it's good. And it might find its audience. But with Dragon's Dogma releasing on the same day, it's almost pretty much dead to rights there as far as critical success. Commercial success. But we'll see. I don't know. You might find this game always have its own niche, though. It's not like Rise of the Ronin is vying for the mainstream eyes anyway. So those people who are Neo type games or whatever, they'll like. Did you play
Neo? Did you like Neo?
I played the demo. I really enjoyed it, but I never got to play the full game, which I might actually do on stream because I'm doing Sekiro and stuff now. But I really enjoyed Neo, and I know it's not for everyone, but I really loved Wolong, man. Like that was a game I was going to 100%, even though I hate 100%ing stuff, like because the game's 100% thing bugged for me. And Rise of the Ronin looked like a better game, so I might enjoy it a lot more than whatever. But we'll see. I mean, it's early on. When is Dragon's Dogma this game coming out? What's the date? Release date?
Next week.
Next week?
Yeah, 22nd, 23rd.
Oh my god, we're the 16th already. Bro, I can't believe it. Time is going too quick. Too quick. Holy shit, March is coming to an end. We're mid-March already. Yeah, so next week, Dragon's Dogma time. Oh, damn. We're going to be talking about Dragon's Dogma next week. I wonder if that game will actually gel with me. I need to complete Cyberpunk before that game comes out. March 22nd, yeah. It's going to be incredible. Shout out to Tom Henderson in the chat. We're going to be talking about the flames that you... fanned, or actually confirmed by way of the PlayStation 5 Pro specs, which is going to be the highlight of this show where we talk about it. But aside from those leaks, we also got some major leaks in the form of Spider-Man The Great Web. The leaked trailer, it almost feels like it's like purposeful. They did this. So Spider-Man, so if you didn't see this chat, Spider-Man on social media, the trailer was doing the rounds for this multiplayer centric Spider-Man game. It looked pretty polished. I don't know, we can't play it on screen because you get DMCA takedown from Sony, which is pretty much an indication that this is real. If it was pretty obvious it was real. Some people believed it was fake. Jade up. But it's definitely, well, it looks real and seems like it's real, and Sony wouldn't really go out of their way to take it down. And it looked like a polished trailer, very polished, unless this is a very good fake operating out there. And there's 2 trailers released. And people were like, why? It looks really good. It's amazing why you, why did you cancel this game? To me, it looked like it could be fun, but it looks like DLC. Really? What did you think about this?
I can think of 3 very good reasons why it was cancelled, which are Suicide Squad, Gotham Knights, and the Avengers. Okay, and that's legitimately, these are 3 very good reasons for this to be cancelled. But the Arkham ones in particular,
Why
so Suicide Squad and
games?
Gotham Knights, because they're why those games? They're live service games that take popular heroes, but particularly the Arkham games, the Spider-Man games pretty much refined the combat systems and style that the Arkham games established, right? With the context sensitive gluing to the other actors in the scene and all of that kind of stuff. And what they found in Avengers and Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights is that kind of combat does not translate into a multiplayer game very easily at all, which is why none of those 3 games did it. But more importantly for Sony, none of those 3 games saw like commercial success. They were lambasted for the changes that they had to make in order to work in that scenario. So I suspect, I know you didn't play Spider-Man 2. I think you did play the first one a bit, didn't you? But you didn't rate it very highly. But you know the way that the combat works. Everything is context sensitive, and everything that your character does is locked to an animation with the opponent as well. And like, what's going to happen in multiplayer Spider-Man if you press a button to slide through the opponent's legs, and the other player presses the same button to slide through the opponent's legs? And that's a really simple example, but fundamentally, the combat systems that you've got in Spider-Man wouldn't work in a multiplayer game. So once you've had to shift away from that to refine it and make it work in a multiplayer game, you don't necessarily have a game that people are going to appreciate. And once you have a game that people are not necessarily going to appreciate, then what you potentially have is a bit of damage rather than a success. I reckon for all that trailer was looking good, and I've got faith that Insomniac can make a good game, but I'm not sure it was going to work out as well as people assume from seeing that trailer. And if you look at that trailer closely, like you say, I can't play it, but if you look at that trailer closely, there are almost no examples of multiple Spider-Men attacking the same enemy. And the one where there's a character standing behind Venom just kind of like wailing on his butt. And you can see that it's like, yeah, I can see why you kept that really brief in the trailer. It's not quite fleshed out and ready to go. It's a shame in a sense, because I really like the Spider-Man games and I like the combat in them and I like the responsiveness of the controls and the traversal and all the things that people love in those games. I just don't think that the Great Web was going to turn out to be a great game.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I can see why they cancelled that version of the game. And I said, like, look, if you're going to do this, reserve this for the only Spider-Man game I would really care about, which is the Spider-Verse game. If they ever released a Spider-Verse game, like in the vein of the animated movies, I'm there day one. Obviously, it has to be more than just a visual, like, change to match that. It has to have some changes and refinements in gameplay with the portal stuff and whatever. And I was thinking just do what Ghost of Tsushima did and release a multiplayer. However, it's refined in accordance with the concerns you raised. So yeah, either way, it's just another one. Like, it seems like, because we know Sony cancelled loads of games mid-project, loads of titles, and this likely one of them. And am I correct in assuming Hellblade, the multiplayer, might have been shelved as well? I don't know where I'm getting that from.
Hellblade multiplayer? What do you mean?
Sorry, man. Horizon multiplayer.
No, I heard that one was still in the works.
Is that still in the works? Okay. Yeah, because I don't know. Well, if there's actual vision to deliver something multiplayer, Horizon could work. I can imagine, like, one way, like you see a big giant robot and multiple people have to pin it down, use the ropes, and work in tandem to pull the enemy down and stuff. It's not like context sensitive combat. Stuff like that could work, but you have to have really good vision. Otherwise, it feels like you're just trying to milk this IP dry. And I've seen that with the VR thing and loads of Horizon games, but it's not for me. But yeah, that's Spider-Man: The Great Web cancelled, and maybe for good reason. But I mean, obviously they spent some time on it, so it's a bit of a shame. You think this would die in the concept phase, but this trailer seemed pretty...
I think what we've seen there was more or less the concept phase. I don't think it
do you think
had
so?
got that far along. Yeah.
You could see the portals and stuff didn't look that like proper animated as well. It looked like it was a bit. The storyboard board was like very minimal as well. They had voice acting and stuff. Seemed like they had serious intent behind it, but after that very polished demo phase, they just said no. But yeah, there's a game that got cancelled. Angry Hippie, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I think it got cancelled for the same reason Factions got cancelled. They didn't want to put a team on it to pump out updates and content. I think it was before that. I think with Naughty Dog, they definitely had a vision. Like, you remember Neil Druckmann coming up on the stage and saying, this game is going to be big, it's more ambitious than even, or as ambitious as The Last of Us Part 2. So that was a very different kettle of fish. I would love to see what they actually produced with that and cancelled, because there's obviously a late working version of that game. This is different. This is early stage concept phase deletion, according
and
to
to
you.
be fair,
but
it's a concept phase. It's a deletion of a game that we shouldn't actually know anything about. It's not like it had been announced and then cancelled like Factions. Like, it was concept, and these trailers looked like they were made to show the game off internally, and it's like comic strip stuff, but was very basic things in between it. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously it sucks because it's very likely tied into the 50 odd people from Insomniac that were let go as well. So
maybe
like, that's all very sad, obviously, but
yeah, you don't want a crap game on your hands to ruin the legacy of your studio. Rocksteady know this very well, I'm sure now. But well, that's another one that's dead. Multiversus is now returning in May. This is a weird one. A game comes out, massive success, loads of people eyes on it are like, what? This is doing way better than we thought it would. And then they pull the game. Work on it for how long has it been? A year? 2 years? I don't know. It feels like a long time. And then they've shifted this game to Unreal Engine 5, which seems to be where the entire game industry is moving to. And it's releasing in May. Did you play Multiversus? What do you think about this?
I did play Multiversus a little bit, and I quite enjoyed it. I didn't know who the stupid dog character that I was playing as actually was from the DC universe or whatever, but yeah, no, I quite enjoyed that. It was quite a good game. It did massively well on its kind of launch day as a free-to-play game, and it dropped off extremely quickly, and they just lost the player base before they'd even got to like the first bits of content. Really, they added like Rick and Morty and stuff. Now they're taking it away, and I don't actually know that they've done anything to change its fate, because moving it to Unreal Engine 5 is like, it's a nice tagline, but it looks the same from what we've seen of the gameplay that they've shown. It doesn't look meaningfully like it's a different game now to what it was when it launched as a beta. So I don't actually know. Like, I'll try it again because I enjoyed it the first time, and I guess a bunch of people will try it again because a lot of people tried it and liked it for a little while. I'm not sure what they need to do to get a different result this time around.
Kayasanti also asks a very good question. When it comes back, will it all have the user will all the users have previous microtransactions? Because that's another game I bought freaking microtransaction for, even barely played it.
That's a good question. I can't remember how they handled the closure the first time. Did they not do any refunds or anything? They just took it all away and said,
That'd be really. I'll be pissed about that because I expected to actually follow through. I'm like, I'm sorry, you pulled this game. You didn't tell us you were going to do that, so no. But yeah, your question's a really good one. Why did they pull it away? Part of me feels like they pulled it away because they wanted they foresaw maybe because around the time they pulled it was when a lot of live service games were dying. You had like your the rollerblade, what was that game, the dodgeball game, which was really good, very fun. Loads of live service games died, and then I feel like they pulled it ready for a relaunch. Maybe they felt like the content that they had planned to launch to supplement this wasn't going to be ready for a while. And that's why they moved it to UE5, because that way they can rely on tools that will enable them to push more content aggressively. Maybe? I'm guessing. Yeah, I mean, as a game, it doesn't touch Smash. It doesn't come close to Smash. Let me make that very clear.
Why, Gaz? Actually, I really want to know, because like I say, my Switch says that I've got 20 hours in Smash. I haven't, right? That was spectating that little tournament that we ran, that weird little event that we ran ages ago. I've never played it, and I don't... How is it fundamentally different to Multiverses? How are they similar and how are they different?
I'm not saying they're fundamentally different, but they're fundamentally better. In my opinion, just the manner in which the abilities work, the way the combat works, and the smoothness of the combat as well, the intricacy of the design of the combat movements. It's very, very tight and a lot more dynamic. So you'll have things that take place as a result of the physics-based stuff that just lead onto it. Whereas with what I'm trying to remember with Multiverse is like the moves built very similar to Smash, but just seemed a lot more basic compared to the Smash. Smash obviously has the benefit of having God knows how many iterations of this game, multiple updates, and years of Nintendo magic poured on it. But it just doesn't just hasn't the depth the mechanic in terms of mechanics. It just really doesn't. It just doesn't have it, like even from base moves to. But I'm not saying that Multiverse is a bad game. I really enjoyed it because it had its own take on it, own abilities that were really cool. Still had a long while to get used to and understand, so I have to reserve that, make that point. But immediately off the back, when you play Smash, when I played Smash, I could tell this game is really you could tell this game's so much depth to it. You could feel it. You could see all the different things that happen dynamically in that game mode. With Multiverses, it felt a little bit more kind of rote. I don't know. There was less dynamism in that. But again, I need to spend more time with it. But that's Multiverses. We also so in terms of your favorite Final Fantasy, well, that's not your favorite actually. Final Fantasy, we had a couple of Final Fantasy topics. Final Fantasy 16 is coming to PC, and it's probably most likely coming to PC this year. It's apparently in the final stages of optimization, so it's looking to come out on PC, so you can play it there, the definitive edition. Final Fantasy 16, did you complete it?
No, I haven't started it. I was waiting for the PC version, funnily enough. So now there is a PC version. That is where I will play it. Final Fantasy 16, there's a distinction between 16 and 7, though, because I played 7 on the PlayStation 5 and playing it still at the moment. 7, I'm already invested in and I adore it. But 16, I don't actually trust that I'll particularly like it, because I didn't like 15, like the Final Fantasy series in general. I love 7 Remake, and I consider it a massive fluke that Square Enix can't repeat elsewhere. I was really, not worried, because that would be a little bit lame, but concerned that they wouldn't do Final Fantasy 7 justice because they don't know how to make a Final Fantasy 7 or a Final Fantasy game anymore in general. They somehow nailed Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and I loved it, but I still don't trust that 16 is going to be my kind of game. What I do trust about it is that it's going to look really nice on a PC, and it's going to have phenomenal music, and I'm going to enjoy aspects of it, even if I don't like the game overall. So it wasn't enough to entice me to buy the PlayStation 5 version, because I don't trust that I'm going to like the game, and I just didn't need it day one. When it comes out on PC, I'm going to have a proper sincere go at it and hopefully enjoy it with all the bells and whistles. 7, I couldn't wait that long. 7 might only be 3 months away on the PC, but I want to play that before all the spoilers spread all over the internet and all the rest of it. And it's just a game that I've been very much looking forward to and couldn't really wait on. 16, I can wait. So I'm looking forward to the PC version just to give it a go. You've played 16 a bunch, haven't you? Did you ever finish it? No, because you've never finished a Final Fantasy game, have you?
I've never. Actually, this I felt like this was going to be the Final Fantasy game I would complete, but then my brother went to Saudi and gave him the PlayStation without any foresight. So I'm just I do want to go back to it, but I think you will hate bits of it, and you will like some bits of it. The likes are the bits that you mentioned: music, spectacle, and parts of the story. It does the spectacle bit very well. I think you'll like what. You might like what they did with the Guardian Forces. The GFs are the big, core component of the story. And for me, that was a big pull for Final Fantasy always. A big highlight for me. So the way they did that was so good. I felt like I wish every Final Fantasy treated the Guardian forces in the same way, like make them almost like the centerpiece. It was really cool. I want to play it, and I will go and complete it. PC or PlayStation. It's something I'd rather play on PlayStation, but yeah, well, it's Final Fantasy 16 might find its audience there, but also Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. By the way, Colt says Final Fantasy 16 could come to Game Pass, and I still won't play it. That demo was fluffy as fuck. But he liked Final Fantasy 15. Interesting. I don't know if Colt's better than me. Colt plays loads of games. Colt was playing Fallout 76 with Phil Spencer yesterday. You know, that Phil Spencer's... I wonder why. You know when Phil Spencer does this? I was like, why? Why is he doing this? Is he feeling like, let me insert some, like, propaganda now. Let me evangelize the core content creator fan base a little bit more. I just look at it. What was he doing, Cole? What did he say to you? Did you ask him some hard questions? Did you ask him why did he make Xbox third party? Did you ask him that? But it's really cool. Cool to see Phil Spencer actually play some games. No doubt if he knew I was in the party, he would never come in. But yeah, shout out to Colt Eastwood. But Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Now, it's going to be a bit console worry because of the nature of it. But I'm just reporting facts. Final Fantasy 7 had a huge drop up in sales in the second week. I feel like that's almost sometimes normal in Japan. But in the UK, the retail sales went down to number 2 with an 89% drop off. And Final Fantasy 7 Remake is not doing that well generally compared to the old Final Fantasy 7. And I'm told that that's because PlayStation 4's install base was so high. La 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 la. What's your take on it? Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Is this, Acer, a sign of the multi-plat strategy failing? Will Square Enix be looking at this and thinking, no, your money is not worth it, that 3 months can't come quick enough? Or is it just expected for some reason?
I don't know. So on the one hand, Final Fantasy VII is always going to have a massive drop-off from week one because it's the kind of game where even people like me want to buy it on day one. So part of a big drop-off is a good first week, right? You can't drop off if you didn't get anywhere in the first place. And all games do drop off in a big way apart from Helldivers, which apparently just keeps on going up. But
yeah,
in terms of like the multi-platform strategy and that game in particular, I don't know that... I would like to see it be multi-platform and be everywhere. Like, of course I would. I don't know that Final Fantasy VII would have been a huge success even if it had employed a more broad strategy. Obviously, it would have sold more than it did, but well, with that offset, the money that Sony are obviously paying for the trilogy, I've got no idea. I don't know how much they paid for it. How many people would have bought the game on Xbox? If you look at other games in the Final Fantasy series, Square Enix have definitely tried it, and if the numbers were strong, then it would have been hard for Sony to force it back. PC side of it, obviously, the PC side of it is a little bit different because it is going to come to PC. So there's a question on how much is the PC launch diminished by the fact that it's running later. Because it might not be a huge amount. The game might still do really well on PC. It might be. So they don't lose out terribly. Generally though, I mean, if Square Enix come away from this and go, well, this was a terrible mistake, we should probably shy away from like money-hatted timed exclusives, that's fucking awesome. That's what I want to see. Let me play my games wherever I want to play them. So we can hope in that sense. The good news about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is I think the concluding part of the trilogy is already secured because the marketing is already like secured. So they can't go, it's terrible, we're not going to make the last part. Like, there's a very slim chance that I don't get to finish the game, and that probably means more than the sales strategy.
I feel like, if they do release on PC and the staggered release, it will still do well in terms of sales. So there's no mad pressure. It's not like Xbox
Remake
as a result
because they did Remake. They did timed exclusivity on the Epic Store as well, which is always like frowned upon by the PC audience. That's like Alan Wake suffered that as well. There's good reasons for it. I'm not like a massive Steam fanboy, but a lot of the PC audience will only play a game that comes to Steam. So we'll see what they do with it. I don't really know how it's going to do over there, but.
Yeah, we'll see.
It could be.
Shout out
could
to
be that they looked at the numbers, that they released Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC, didn't really consider the fact that people don't shop so much on the Epic Store and said, well, look, the numbers aren't very good over there, so let's keep our exclusive strategy going. But I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're not that naive.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like Square Enix generally will be just getting a little bit more distasteful with the money hanging. I mean, turning the money away isn't exactly ideal. I mean, it's a good draw. You get a bit of the money back from development right from the get-go, but they have a very different view, or very harsh potential view on numbers. We've seen their comments on a load of different games. And I feel like they might just be a little... This might be just another bit... And they're deepening the connection with Xbox as well. And Xbox will be whispering in their ears as well. So, Xbox is so desperate to get Final Fantasy VII on their platform. They might even offer a chunk of money to get it, even if it's later, just get it on that platform. To send teams out to help with the development of that, because they did that with Final Fantasy 14, let alone a main game like this. So I don't know. Jay in the super chat with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Goes Final Fantasy 13, 87%. Final Fantasy 15, 88%. Final Fantasy 16, 88%. Final Fantasy VII Remake, 89%. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, 90%. Over the last 15 years, since Final Fantasy 13 in 2009, this is a normal drop for the second week. So apparently this is... I don't know where he's pulling these figures out from, but I'll take it.
That's what I was saying. That's part of it, though. Like, it is the kind of IP that people flock to day one, which is going to make the drop-off severe. Like, inherently it is, and that doesn't mean that it was or wasn't successful. It's just a drop off. Like,
and it's topped off at about 230,000 odd in Japan in sales in total, which is typically, I think it's quite low, but I think that says apparently more to Japan's tastes. Maybe I saw a lot of commentary on that.
I don't know.
But,
Sales.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Sales. Yeah, it's true. Sales. Yeah. Well, I think Final Fantasy will be okay. It's just a question of how Square interprets that. And they might be absolutely fine with it. We got this week, Ninja Theory dropped some goodness for starving Xbox fans. Hellblade 2 got some nice little screenshots released. And also confirmation that it's got a photo mode, which is probably where me and Coaties would probably spend most of the time, making this very short game a little longer than standard. And the cutscenes, I mean, I imagine the pictures that they shared were from the photo mode in the game, because they look spectacular. One in particular looks too good to be true, which is always a good thing to say, I guess. It's a very confined, restrained third-party design, third-person game, but it looks really good. Did you see the pictures on this? Do you think?
You mean the really like high-quality character detailing, the real close-up of the face and the eye? I did see that. Yeah.
I feel like that's it's not bullshot, but it's like photo mode at least. It reminds me of what I saw with Uncharted 4. I remember still to this day Uncharted 4's launch in-game trailer with the fly as he's washed up on a beach. It looks so insanely good. I was arguing with people saying, it's in-engine. I'm like, no, it's not. And like it holds up to this. People still fell for it. So I'm just a bit dubious about taking those claims at face value. But photo mode or not, I think Hellblade 2 is going to look like a really good game. And it's only a couple of months away, so I'm quite excited. And that's one of my most anticipated games of this year, and it's good to see that. And photo mode is going to be good. Hoggy hates photo mode. Ever since me and Cole and him were in, what was that game? The top-down game.
The Ascent.
It's cyberpunkish.
The Ascent.
The Ascent. Oh, you clocked it. Yeah, the Ascent.
Yes.
Yeah, the Ascent. It has no business looking that good. I need to complete that as well. I was really enjoying that. Yeah, and then me and Cole Eastwood were just spending ages in party chat. Like, yo, doing little flyovers, and oh, this looks amazing. Look at the graphics. This is a top-down game. You can go zoom into the city in the middle and like look at all the details. I think it's Unreal Engine. But yeah, whatever it is, it's beautiful. And Hellblade, obviously going to spend time in photo mode. Cole Eastwood's going to be spreading the Xbox propaganda. I know it, Cole. You're going to be spending doing that. You did that Starfield at 60 FPS. Of course, you're going to go crazy on this. Is it bad if I say, Asa, if there's a 25 FPS mode on Hellblade, this is the only game I would actually voluntarily play. It's like a movie.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Terrible idea. Don't touch that.
I would do it. I would do it just to make it look more cinematic and make recordings. Not maybe from a gameplay perspective, it's not that good. But yeah, from a cinematic perspective, it's really good. But yeah, okay, I was joking. Don't come at me for that. But yeah, Hellblade 2 is going to be, yeah, it's going to be really good. Huggy's in the chat. He goes, yeah, it was the Ascent. Shout out to you, Huggy. Now, actually, before the big topic, can we talk about this one? It's Shawn Layden. I made a video about this. Shawn Layden and Jim Ryan did an interview with CNBC, and they were talking absolute bollocks. I'm sorry. I just feel like it was so much fluff coming out. The absolute sacrilege that comes out of Jim Ryan's mouth as he says, oh yeah, we were very delighted to have negotiated a deal with Microsoft for the 10 years for Call of Duty. And immediately the interviewer just calls him on it. I'm like, well, hold on, but you joined the FTC and its main litigant against Microsoft. And then Jim Ryan follows through with the stuttering response. Well, there's deals upon deals upon deals. Like, shut up, man. You are the man who said, I don't want a deal. I just want to block your merger. You can't say that. You're such a lying piece of not piece of shit, but you know what I mean. Why are you lying? Like, and the audacity for him to say, yeah, we were delighted to get a 10-year deal. Do you see this interview at CNBC?
I've seen parts of it. I'm less emotional about it than you are. Like, I don't want to say.
You have no emotions. That's why. No. No. And then Shawn Layden, and again the sacrilege of this comment from this. There was a bit of pushback from the place. Okay, if Xbox guys evangelize Phil Spencer and they love him up like he's a celebrity, which they do, then PlayStation guys are just as guilty, because the shameful defense that they propped up for this PlayStation alumni, both of them, but Shawn Layden in particular, was disgusting. I saw Nick Marseille going, they were constantly goggling on Shawn Layden's nonsense. This guy who said, apparently, it's wrong for me to say that Shawn Layden is a hypocrite for calling out consolidation, whilst he is the strategic advisor to Tencent of all companies, which he joined in 2022, 2 years after bloody Tencent's crazy buying spree. And then Shawn Layden in his spiel talks about consolidation is the enemy of creativity, and then he goes out to name like Embracer, like Microsoft, like, I'm sorry, I get it. You can call it out whilst you're in that position, but if you're going to dole out names, I don't think you get impunity for having selective amnesia about where you yourself work. You don't pretend to be so principled whilst you're sleeping with the enemy, and not only enemy, you're having a high position in the space. What do you think? Because I can see from your face you're coming with a counter, and I'm just going to murk you.
I've not got a counter. I'm curious, like, so you're saying that he's hypocritical, right? But that doesn't mean that what he's saying is untrue. So what would you rather? Would you rather he came out and said things that were dishonest, or was hypocritical with it? And he might be, right? There might be some validity to that. He might be advising Tencent to do exactly what he's saying sucks. He's also getting paid, and we all understand what a consultant does and why he would be doing it, right? He's getting paid a lot of money for it to do what's best for Tencent, not what's best for the industry. So hypocritical, maybe. What's better though, like dishonest or hypocritical? Which would you rather? What do you want him to say?
No, I don't actually necessarily disagree with him about in terms of what consolidation can lead to. In fact, in my video, I used his words to reinforce a lot of what he was saying, because he says because what he said, and he said it in Jay Barry and Persona's podcast, is that when you do consolidation like this, and this is where the hypocrisy of it comes in, and he doesn't even realize as he says it, or he glosses over it. He says, when you consolidate, these studios don't necessarily go out to innovate. That's what he said. You don't put them in charge of innovating, which is something I've said, that as soon as Microsoft buy ABK, I'm going to be hot on their heels about, exploring their, defunct IPs, blah, 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 all of that, for a reason, because I know that whether you do this, you want to, the tendency will be to turn Activision Blizzard into a Call of Duty machine. And then when he says this, he's talking about, he gets his flowers from Jay Barry and Persona about Insomniac, and he's like, yeah, I did that. That was my last acquisition, and it's like, shout out to Insomniac. They were a godsend. They're the goats. And he's like, yes. Yeah. The products that they have revealed are Spider-Man, Ratchet, which they've already worked on. They haven't exactly, and then now we know they're the Marvel studio. They're just going to be working on IP licenses. They're not exactly known. I would hardly say they are the bastion of innovation there. So the hypocrisy is compounded by his very lack of critical application to the very studio he's accepting the celebratory flowers from. Now, necessarily not wrong, because I'm using exact words to reinforce what he says. That there it is, Spider-Man. So you guess you're right. There you are. But
are you still a fan of consolidation?
I definitely, my idea, and this going back to exactly what I said before, my idea of good, meaningful consolidation is this. I don't like this whole open, very opposite to what you think, because you want everywhere, games everywhere, everyone gets to play them and whatnot, and then I guess they compete on platforms or whatever island, or however you want to segment your competition. For me, my vision of a healthy industry revolves around a handful of key players who do things distinctively well. So for consolidation, for me, I would not crazy if Capcom went to Sony, but if Sony did, I would secretly be. I've said that. I made a video saying Capcom with Sony would be incredible. Now Microsoft has an impetus to compete in delivering titles which they wouldn't necessarily explore. As soon as Call of Duty Activision talk was happening, so immediately off the bat, people were talking about, well, Bungie happened. Sony immediately realizing, well, we need to actually, our post ZeniMax, we need to have multiplayer in our stable. We need to fully flesh out our own outfit. And I see that, and I'm definitely pro consolidation in the sense that I think it can benefit competition. But am I pro consolidation in the hands of players like these that are just, it's just very early days. We haven't even seen what Microsoft's doing with Activision. And this is why I always say I'm going to be on their heels, because the benefits of consolidation, empowering others to be competitive, putting the pressure on Sony to be competitive. They don't have Western RPGs. What are they going to do? So if they buy Square Enix, Sony, amazing. What is Microsoft going to do to tackle that that part in Asia? They're going to have to do something to compete. Everyone has their own distinct identity. Everyone has they're competing in this space. Not this weird kind of open melee where money hatting, which is, to me personally, is a lot worse. You just open your wallet up, and that's it. And Shawn Layden, which I wanted to clip and actually share on social media, he talks about money hatting third-party deals because he's asked by. In fact, as much as I was mocking a little bit Persona J. Barry's points on subscription services and how they were lapping up, how they were vindicated about it, I think they did a very good job of this interview, actually. Asked really pertinent questions really well and went straight to it. So shout out to J. Barry and Persona. I know, Persona, you've blocked me and people don't understand the spirit of a lot of my content. You did a really good job with that interview. But Shawn Layden himself says, well, because he was asked about the distinction between first-party titles, second-party, third-party, and he says, well, it's typically just a marketing thing. We just pay them, and they give us exclusivity. And some of the detractors on social media who came at me for my comment or the clip of consolidation said, well, no, third-party money hatting has been a part of this industry for years. So why is the status quo impervious from being negative? Why is the doubling down on that kind of practice negative? I called out Titanfall becoming Xbox exclusive, even though there was a bot back in the Xbox One. Well, actually, it was more a PC side, but I was very genuinely pissed off. I wrote that article saying it's disgraceful that you made Titanfall 1 exclusive to the Xbox One last minute, because this is an incredible IP that you're just taking away from a big chunk of a player base just because you threw money at it. And then you threw the cloud argument, which is bollocks. I still to this day don't know what they did with the cloud and Titanfall. I'm sorry. What were you doing? What were you doing with that? They did it so late, money hatted that game so late that even Respawn didn't know. EA and Microsoft made that deal in the background. And that kind of shit pisses me off. So money hatting, and at the same time I did say, you know, Phil Spencer, it's not going away. This shitty practice of third-party money hatting is not going away. Why don't you just do it? Just do it and at least compete now, because the competition is now this murky game of exclusivity on money hatting. Might as well do something instead of sitting back and just opening your legs, and now you just do even more with your first party titles and giving them away to everyone. I know it seems like a very, I can see you might think, well, the guys, this is such a old, like, kind of archaic way of thinking of competition, like islands here competing on this here, keeping this silo here. But I really feel like if you look at the numbers, you look at Nintendo and how they operate, look at PlayStation, how they operate and the successes they've enjoyed, there is a value in this almost walled garden approach with exclusivity sometimes. But
you hate money hatting, but you want Microsoft to do it.
No, yeah. Well, I hate money hatting. The reason why I'm saying Microsoft, I'm saying it's a shit practice, but at least they're competing. But for the sake of getting that identity to something, for Microsoft or PlayStation to at least feel some pressure to do something. But I don't like it. I hate money hatting. But it's better than no competition in this space. And there's no competition. I don't feel like Microsoft is competing hard enough. I look at the space now and I look at Microsoft and I feel like they haven't got the competitive fervor in this space, that competition that caused this industry in the peak generation of the 360 to really thrive. I saw real pressure and you saw it in the Shawn Layden interview with CNBC. Like, he was saying, look, they were so comfortable and Microsoft were outselling them. Xbox 360 were outselling the PlayStation 3. And do you know what that did? That created the PlayStation we know today. He said it himself. They did all this talk about first-party games. That wasn't a thing until the PlayStation 3 gen. And who forced PlayStation to double down on their first-party? Xbox did. He says it. He knows it. We know it for a fact it did. That is the direct result of real competition. Whether it was third-party, multiplayer, which I hate it, despise it. But I acknowledge that fostered that environment. It created PlayStation's identity of first-party outfit, having this pride, which I find so hilarious now on social media. People like PlayStation fanboys are so diminutive of first-party exclusive. Well, we've got third-party games now. Well, for ages, you lambasted Xbox fans for leveraging third-party money-hatted games like Titanfall and Tomb Raider and whatnot. And now you're suddenly, that's the argument. We're not saying PlayStation doesn't have games. PlayStation doesn't have games according to your metric. I know I'm going all over the place here. But what I don't want is someone to take it out of context and then just not understand the full bit of what I'm saying. So, yeah, so generally just like, I was very optimistic about the console space and the gaming space at the start of this generation. I was seeing the consolidation leading up to this real competition, and I felt like this is it. They're going to really compete. And Microsoft immediately off the back just relented in a way we didn't expect by opening up the gates to everyone else. And to me, That feels like, and you might say, well, guys, this is just the Xbox and you're just feeling sorry that you lost your little console. Well, no, I just don't see real impetus to compete. But this is all mixed in with the whole market shift, AAA downsizing, potentially, I don't know what homogeny with UE5, indie in the AA space in this weird limbo. So it's like I'm trying to see where this industry is going. The lack of competition will change. I'm not dismissive of what you say, by the way, about the fact that there will always be competition, and your analogy of the cinema guy or whatever, or the platforms will compete together or whatever not. But this industry is typically really benefited from that kind of direct competition, and I feel like you can't dismiss that, man.
Do you think Sony are having an easy time at the moment in general as a company?
Who?
Sony or anyone, like any of the players having an easy time right now? Nintendo, maybe.
Nintendo are definitely. Sony, well, not. Well, the layoffs, not really. The industry. It's hard to distinguish the industry woes generally with the layoffs and stuff, and then assess competitive health, because it's like it makes it really murky. Like, how much of this is brought about by any kind of substantial pressure from ABK? I can't say anything because, one, we haven't even seen ABK do anything yet on Xbox. Two, Xbox have opened their legs up wide. Call of Duty is going to be available for a decade. Three, Xbox are now doing this third-party thing. Is that really making them more relaxed on the back of them cutting off so many studios? Microsoft have done the same. So it's really hard to comment about the health of the industry or the competitive spirit of the industry when you've got so many moving parts. So I don't know. But I definitely feel a little bit deflated in the manner in which things happen. And I hear, Rand is in party chat with Phil, and then they're like, Phil saying like Twitter doesn't represent the sentiments of the vast majority of people and all of that. And I'm thinking, I just want to sit down with Phil. I know Phil Spencer probably hates the shit out of me, thinks I'm an obnoxious piece of crap, but I just want to have a proper honest conversation. I'm like, what happened to your competitive spirit? I don't care what you say about your metrics, saying I want to see it. Like, show me where you waving, essentially, in my opinion, waving the white flag to competition in the console space is going to help this industry. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. We'll see. Let me read the super chat. Wolf of Darkness. I didn't know you were from Saudi. Shout out to you with the 729. Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan Mubarak to you, man. I hope your fasts are going well. And King Thrash to the $5 super chat. Shout out to you guys. Brokey's not super chatting today. King, without your presence here, there's no impetus for anyone to super chat. Shout out to you, King. Yeah. So, well, that's my view on it. On the industry. Like, again, this is my very. Phil plays your videos on rotation, Nixie says. I doubt that. Yeah, so that's basically the Shawn, Layden, Jim Ryan's comment. Very, like, a lot of emotionally charged comments of mine, but it's something I would say to him in person. I'd love Shawn Layden to come on. I know he's quite open to it. I definitely want to ask him you're from UAE? Shout out to you, Wolf. I would love to ask him, how do you reconcile your role as a strategic advisor at Tencent and talking about consolidation? Because you never mention it. You never mention your company for obvious reasons. You don't want to get fired or whatever. But then don't mouth off about these issues. Like, he's quite socially active as well, like a social activist, quite like liberal and left-leaning and whatnot. And I'm just like, how do you reconcile that with the Chinese connection? I'm not saying that there's a conflict there in any reason, but there has to be a conversation to be had about that. Just generally, not being antagonistic. But that's that. Final topic, Asa. I know you want to rest. You've had a long ass day, but this is the big one. Thanks to Tom Henderson and what's that chat? What's his name?
Moore's Law
is dead. Moore's Law is dead. That's a weird name. Moore's Law is dead. PlayStation 5 Pro specs. Now, this is going crazy on social media. People are talking also, like, I'm not the technical guy. I looked at this and I said, I'm not a technical guy. But what the hell does this actually mean? I would love to know. This is why I'm glad it's just me and you, because when we talked about the Xbox Series X stuff, you were the first person to say really cut the nonsense with the letters. They were obsessed with the RDNA letters and whatnot. It's the base power that you need to look at more than anything. Now we know this will. So the specs are, according to Insider Gaming and according to Moore's Law is dead, it's rendering 45% faster than the PS5, 2 to 3 times X ray tracing, sometimes 4 in some cases, 33.5 teraflops. PSSR, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution upscaling. Support for resolutions up to 8K. Shut up. Custom machine learning architecture. AI accelerator. Supporting 300 TOPS of 8-bit computation. 67 T-flops of 16-bit floating point. What the hell am I reading? What is this shit? Asa, talk to me. Actually, before you do, didn't you say are these specs different from what we had before?
So the initial specs for it came from Tom Henderson and are almost certainly exactly 100% spot on. This new spec list is it's quite interesting because, again, Tom Henderson has confirmed that these are like accurate. These specs that they're quoting have been handed out to like various developers and so on to prep them for the device that's coming. And like, I'm not a massive fan of like leaks in general, but Tom Henderson has been absolutely 100% correct on every bit of PlayStation hardware for the last like 5 years or something. So you can say with quite high confidence that if he says it's real, then it's real. The only thing about the spec list that I think might be taken like vastly out of context, that I don't think is true to the letter, is that teraflop figure. The 33.5 teraflops or whatever, I think that's been taken out of context. I think it might be true in some capacity on like half point or something like that. But I don't like, it doesn't add up that it will be like 3 times more powerful than a PlayStation and 45% faster. Right? That doesn't add up. Whereas if you were to half that teraflop figure, then it would start to make a lot more sense. So I think the 33.5 teraflop thing will turn out to be not a lie. It will exist somewhere in the spec sheet, but it's not a raw stat in the way that people are comparing it to the Series X and the PlayStation 5. There's something misaligned there. In terms of what the system does, 45% faster rendering is quite a big jump. It's quite a nice jump. It's not a 30 frames to 60 frames per second jump, but it gets you a good chunk of the way there. The AI upscaling chip is potentially a really big deal. If you combine the 45% extra performance that they're talking about and always like extra ray tracing bits and pieces, so 3 to 4 times the PlayStation is still a long way off of an Nvidia card, but combine all of this together with some nice AI upscaling, which is a massive saving on what you need to do in terms of that, like rendering power and performance and all the rest of it. I think they've probably got a really nice machine on their hands that is going to make a notable difference, but only for a very specific audience. Very core. Whenever we've spoken about the PlayStation 5 Pro in the past and why Sony are doing it, it's not like PSVR 2, where if they put this thing out, there's a chance that they just like drop it, don't support it, and it dies. That can't happen with the PlayStation 5 Pro because it's an extension of an ecosystem. It doesn't need to build its own ecosystem. It's going to play PlayStation 5 games. So support is inherently included. There's going to be games for this thing. It's going to be a thing that a core audience, a small core audience, really enjoys, gets a lot out of, pays a lot of money for, and it's going to extend the PlayStation 5 generation for like 3 years or so without people getting quite so unhappy if they are focused on power and performance. And that's the purpose of this device, just to extend the generation for that core audience. The broader audience is already satisfied for a while longer. But...
Wow. So 2 to 3 years extension.
That's what they did with the PlayStation 4 Pro as well. I've heard rumors this one's not going to be called a Pro, like the branding is not in line, but it is essentially, it's going to be an extension of the PlayStation 5 to keep it relevant for longer for the people that have like higher demands on performance.
Interesting. Very interesting. is much better than the PS4 Pro was, that's for sure, immediately. I saw this and I thought, okay, this from on simplistic terms. I know you said it doesn't mean 30 to 60 just on the 45% compute, but combined with the AI stuff, do you expect it to then mean more? Like GTA 5, do you expect that to be with like 60 frames on the PS5 now?
GTA 6,
GTA 6, sorry.
A lot of people like to guess either way, and they have no knowledge of the fact. They're just guessing so that they can claim credit when it happens or doesn't. I don't really care to gamble in that way. There's a fair chance that there's a 60 frames per second mode on this console. It's 45% faster rendering with AI upscaling. Is that going to make the difference? Is the CPU going to carry all the systems and physics that are going on in that game? I don't know. Haven't played it, haven't seen it. I'm not a developer, couldn't guess. Don't care to guess.
Fair enough. Face, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. He asks you, Acer, are the specs of the PlayStation 5 Pro impressive to you? And he says Starfield is definitely going to run 60 frames on PS5 Pro.
Yeah. So Petran's just said in chat there pretty much like what I said on RDNA 3. They count double the teraflops because they have some dual input compute queue or something like that. So it is not to be taken as a analogous to words as an equivalent of the Xbox Series teraflops or something like that. If you do that, the whole thing doesn't make any sense anymore. What was your question? Is it good?
Well, this is Face's question. Are you impressed by the specs that they released?
The specs, to me, I think you still need to go back to the initial specs that Tom Henderson leaked. So he leaked the number of cores, the clock, and all the rest of it, and pretty much where it is. Am I impressed? A lot depends on this AI upscaling chip and how good that is, and the Sony Spectral Super Resolution or whatever it is. There's a fair chance that this is going to be really, really good. Yeah,
well, that's good. Even just being optimistic like that, I'm definitely interested in getting the PS5 Pro. I was gonna get a PS5 just like because I'm kind of like want to complete some of those games that started like Final Fantasy 16, but not exactly terribly excited. Otherwise, I'd have bought it by now. But the PS5 Pro, I'm definitely interested in, especially with GTA 5, man. That's the big one. Like, that's not gonna be on PC. GTA 6, keep saying 5, on the PS5 Pro, I might end up getting 2 copies of that game unless it has crossplay, so I can play the definitive version of this incredible game. Why? You have a PC. When is GTA 6 coming out? God, I'm so getting on PC. I'm not waiting a year or minimum or wherever it is for GTA 5, GTA 6, guys. GTA 6 is a day one game. GTA 6 is a day one game. Have to play the definitive edition. So if it's on PlayStation, it's on PlayStation. Face, thank you again for the $20 super chat. It goes, Acer, the reason why teraflops are high is because it's RDNA 3 or 4. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's what Petran was saying as well. They just have a different, like dual pipeline thing. They just double the number arbitrarily in a way that doesn't necessarily do that for performance.
Isn't Moore's law is dead? The guy who said PlayStation 5 has RDNA 3 features?
I don't know, and I don't know if he is a reputable leaker or all the rest of it, or if he throws shit at the wall or all the rest of it. I've got no idea who he is or what he does or how reliable he is, but I know that Tom Henderson is reliable and has confirmed this particular leak. So,
it's only Tom Henderson actually confirming this that makes it. I don't know anything about Moore's law is dead. I just feel like he was the guy who did say the RDNA 3 thing. Chat is saying it was him. So yeah, I thought that name rang a bell. But whatever. BT Maverick, thank you. Because calling Thrash King is like someone grabbing a Hydrox version of Oreos instead of the real thing. BT Maverick, come on, man. That's a funny super chat though. Face 23, Brooklyn, New York. Fonz Gaming, yes, PlayStation games come to PC, but not day one, sir. Well, yes, they won't, but the gap is going to get shorter and shorter. But we'll see. Like the PlayStation, I mean, this. I'm actually really excited about the PS5 Pro, but also for a lot of the salt that will cause the Xbox community. Because how do you reconcile that with Phil Spencer's statements where he said they will never be out of position in power and price? Can you reconcile that, or is that another one?
You can't
of Phil
reconcile
Spencer's
it, and it's going to be a really, really awkward like bit of optics and marketing conundrum for the Call of Duty game that launches in that window.
Yo, I didn't even think about that. Holy shit. Yeah, Call of Duty, Xbox's first party title, is going to work way better on, forget Starfield and stuff, they probably will end up on PlayStation, but this, man, like Call of Duty, that's a great point. I didn't clock that. Your chat, Call of Duty, the definitive editions on PlayStation, man, by a margin. They're going to be out of position in power and price, and their own titles are just going to be running better on the competitor's platform. Call of Duty, I'm a little bit forgiving of because it's a 10-year deal, but it's their hardware strategy. Do you think Xbox would feel any kind of pressure to release a mid-gen? Do you think they're interested in releasing a mid-gen?
I don't think they feel a huge amount of pressure from Sony. I think they can weather a year of awkwardness, which is pretty much what it's going to equate to. It'll be like, this is why I say a Call of Duty release, right? There's going to be a Call of Duty release where they've got to make that decision internally, where they're like, oh, do we fully support the PlayStation 5 Pro and make our own console look a little bit silly? And it would be ethically dubious not to fully support it. So you'd hope that they do in that regard, but it is really awkward optics for them. It's going to be. But they can ride that out for a year and then release their next gen console. Right? What's a year to Microsoft?
So a year and then the next gen console.
Yeah, more or less.
Well, the awkwardness is substantially reduced if, this big if, Microsoft do release their console next year, but also if they talk about that hardware this year, because like with the Xbox Series X, they talked about it a year in advance before its release. You'll want to market that and give it some time to market. So Xbox, not that whether or not, it depends on what they say and show or reveal at the end of this year, but they say, hey, look, because Sarah Bond... Well, this is the confusing part. We don't know if Sarah Bond was talking about the next bit of hardware or some bit of hardware. Could be some handheld or whatever it is. But it might be, I'm hoping it is them talking about the next bit of hardware. Because if it is, and the PS5 comes out with these specs that look really impressive, but Xbox saying our next gen version is just way more powerful, is coming out next year, the awkwardness of a year of COD running better on PlayStation is like, right, you can play that. But Xbox is going to get the dankest version. Like, I just don't know if it's going to work that way, to be honest. And then I'm thinking about, what is Microsoft even doing in the console space? Like, do they have that real appetite? I want to see it with the hardware. I will never until Digital Foundry, not even Digital Foundry have in their hands, because they had the Xbox Series X in their hands. They put it apart. They gave it to them right from the get-go. And we said, that's so nice. Xbox is so confident. This is the old Gaz, naive Gaz, who was looking out for Digital Foundry and John Lineman and Richard Ledbetter touching the Xbox Series X, and we're like, look, they care about power. Microsoft knew what they were doing then. It's going to be amazing. Look, they know they've touched it. They're very confident. And then Digital Foundry, day one, D-Day of the Xbox release comparative, and Richard Ledbetter is like, and I will never... Shut up, Eldrick, parity clause. I will never give them the benefit of the doubt until Xbox has that, Digital Foundry has the game, has the PS5 Pro, whatever version running together, or just the Xbox version, next version, and it runs incredible. Only then should anyone trust any of these letters or any of these execs and what these consoles can do. I'm just generally excited about it. I don't know what more we can say about that. It's just like the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming. When are they going to release it? Because last time the PS5 Pro came out, there was only like 2 months before the release that they announced the thing bloody existed. Is it going to be the same?
So, yes, it'll be the same. They're not going to announce it well ahead of time because that stops people buying the PlayStation 5 in like a wider sphere. Obviously, you've got people like us that follow things. They're not going to announce it broadly, though, and make it hit the news or whatever that there's a newer version of the console coming, because they will kill their own console sales, which they have no desire to do. When it actually comes out, it was Insider Gaming that was saying that there's a little bit of consternation there because they don't have any first party games to push it when it does come out. So it's due to come out at the end of this year, but it might make more sense to align it with their next big game, whenever that may be. And obviously Grand Theft Auto 6 is a big game, so aligning it with Grand Theft Auto 6 might make a lot of sense as well. But really, when I was saying last week about exclusives and how Sony, like when you launch a new platform, you do have some burden of responsibility to show what it can do to build it up. Otherwise, why would third parties bother? So it would make sense to align it with a PlayStation release, but...
This is what I was saying in chat. J-Double's excited on social media about Zubitech and Zubitech sources saying Starfield might be coming out on PlayStation 5 Pro. PlayStation has no first-party titles, and their PlayStation guys are looking at Xbox games like, please make these third-party so they can actually launch and we can take benefit of our PlayStation 5 Pro. You pieces of shit. That's what I was alluding to. But you're right. Despite my constant worry, you're right. They have a burden to discharge when it comes to their new hardware, which Xbox didn't do with the Series X at its launch. So why does the PlayStation 5 Pro get a free little go of it? No, man. You're releasing this year and you have no games. Shit, I'm coming for Nick Marseille and his bald hair. Mad Monster, thank you for the $5 super chat. Handheld for Christmas to fill Xbox void until next gen. Oh my god, Xbox is like, we're always filling the voids. Xbox, please, no more voids. Just at least have the games do the talking, and I hope the games look good. The games do look good on the Xbox front, but Xbox is remarkable in the manner in which this industry operates, and the propensity of Microsoft to actually just completely self-sabotage sometimes. But we'll see. I love that PlayStation is ferocious. They're always doing things proactively, but it's not all that perfect. And hopefully Microsoft tries to be a little bit more. Just bring back J. Allard. I don't know where you are, your little cycle business. Just come back. Show Phil Spencer the way. Shout out to Phil. Guys, that's a massive jump for a mid-gen refresh, don't you think? What is the specs of this thing? Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not saying the PS5 Pro looks good, man. Like, for the core audience. Yeah,
like I say, completely dismiss that 33 teraflops thing, right? Because it's a ridiculous jump if you take that at face value. Don't take that at face value. Take the 45%
that sounds like a
at face
next-gen
value.
console.
Take the AI chip at face value. Those are the big parts of it, but...
Yeah. Elijah says that there's no way the specs are real. Like, just listen to what Asa just said. Like, take it at face value. Because there were some people bro, immediately off the bat, they're comparing it with 4070s and 4080s, bro. And everyone's that it's between 4070 and 4080. Even I know that you're on crack, bruv. There's no way it's going to be that equivalent of that. But yeah, we'll see. It's Xbox fans, the moment that gets announced in September, whatever, it's going to be such a shit show, and I can't wait for it. I might make a video on it. Correction, Gaz, meth. What are you talking about, Mr. 7-Digit? I don't know what else we can talk about, Asa. So the power's there. The mid-gen console is going to get released. Tom Henderson making memes. Thank you, I guess. Everyone in chat. I don't know what else we can talk about. It's going to be exciting times. Good to get some mix of gaming news and tech news and insider stuff. And I think we're about to sign off. So,
yeah,
Asa.
Here we are. So Petron in chat as well seems to have a good finger on the pulse on this one. He's saying that he's heard that it's got 60 compute units, and he expects that 4 are going to be disabled for yields, which will be 56 CUs, which if you go back to the initial leak from Tom Henderson, that's exactly what he said. So this is what I mean when I say the initial leak was correct and the new one is correct, and just don't take that teraflop value at face value. The rest of it, I mean, all of it is on point and accurate. So believe that this thing is coming. Don't believe that it's 3 times as powerful as a PlayStation 5, and you're on the right lines. As for me, I'm going to go to sleep. But for the week coming, there'll be loads of games, loads of podcasts, all the usual things on the Gaming Arcadia channel. That's not Game on Acer, as Gaz put in our little video. It's Gaming Arcadia. You can find me there like all the time. And we have a very entertaining Discord as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely check that out. Thank you, Isla, for linking that. Gaz, check your Discord. Okay, I will. I don't know where. I don't get notifications properly, by the way, the FTW. So this sucks. But yeah, definitely check out Acer stuff and multiple shows. And mine, I have a video coming out most likely tomorrow on this PS5 Pro thing and where that leaves the Xbox in generally. And check out the Discord. If you're Patreon, I'm locking it off now before the ponies come in. But ponies are welcome as well, and there are a few there and there already. Get those hats, mate, Razor or Ultron. I will try. I want to do the merch well. But thank you so much. More Sekiro tomorrow. I'm streaming Sekiro Snowdragon. Everyone chat if you want to watch me geek the shit kicked out of me. Sekiro tomorrow. I hope you enjoy the chat. And please smash the like button if you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for being patient as I'm late every week. But we had incredible chat, and the timestamps will be up soon. Peace out. Shout out to King Thrash in the chat. Shout out to all the channel members. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll see you next week. Peace.